I'm Leanne Babcock, and I have the pleasure of interviewing Dr. Suzanne Henwood and finding out more about the extraordinary work she does with her clients. Now, Suzanne is an executive coach, a health coach. She's a master trainer and a master coach in a whole new branch of neuroscience called multiple brain integration techniques. She's an NLP trainer and has her doctorate in professional development studies. She's authored numerous books, published articles, and I'm really looking forward to talking with you, Suzanne. Welcome.
Oh, kia ora. Thank you, Leanne.
So I'm really curious about, this topic about stress. Because it's a real big issue for people today. And, we read articles about how it affects our health and our lives. And this is something I know that you're passionate about and your work focuses on. So I'm interested at what sparked you in this area.
Yes, it's a great question to start with. And stress wasn't something I went out looking for as an area to practice, really. Like many people, I came across it because it came into my own life and I had to learn how to deal with it for me. I was working in an incredibly toxic work environment. I was a senior member of staff. I'm quite a strong, feisty woman, quite capable, and I found myself experiencing stress, and I didn't really have skills to handle it well. I tried to handle it by changing the situation, by changing what was going on around me, and that failed miserably. It was something that was outside of my sphere of control, sphere of influence, and in a way, everything I tried to do just increased my stress even further. So I was really, really lucky that at the time at which I was probably at my lowest point, I came across mBraining, and it just gave me a set of tools like I had never heard of, experienced before, that helped me get back in control of how I was responding to what was happening around me. And so just learning the simple breathing techniques, the focusing techniques of what was going on for me inside, what values were being conflicted, how I felt about me as a person, the head, heart and gut response to the stress helped me literally change how I was experiencing it. And yeah, I would say I got rid of it completely. And I started teaching other people the same techniques I was using. And from that, it's developed into part of my health coaching practice now, because stress is just so prevalent in the workplace. And not only the workplace, but generally the people that I coach are from workplace settings. And so, yeah, it kind of found me in a weird sort of way. And
I love that you share about your own experience there, and that's what led you to doing this work. But tell me, I'm curious, is this something that you always thought you would do?
No, not at all. I've always been a people supporter and encourager. No, I would never have dreamt I would have been someone who would be working out of a health clinic, helping people manage unhelpful, unresourceful stress.
Now, let's talk about bullying. I know that this is something that you have written a number of articles on. And so, yeah, can you say a little bit more about your work in this area?
Yeah, this has been another one that took me by surprise. So at the time where I was in this toxic work environment, I was being bullied. And so that was the start of my journey really into all of the stressful work environment and the bullying culture. But I didn't realize that isolating someone, alienating somebody, ignoring somebody also constituted bullying. Like many people talk about with stress, they get into a disempowered downward spiral, and it almost gets to the point where you feel like you can't get out of it. And at that point, as I say, I was just really lucky. I came across mBraining. I had that massive stop and a chance to reevaluate, reskill, upskill, and then start to come back up the spiral with a massive realization that I was responsible for my response, which was not what I wanted to hear when I wanted to blame them for creating my stress.
So say more about bullying, Suzanne.
Definition is really about it's deliberate, it's consistent, it's over time, that even when people are called on their behavior, it carries on. And bullying can be something as simple as just being completely isolated and ignored. And I know that was the form of bullying that I experienced. So what I would say to someone is, if they think they are being bullied, to go and get support. Don't do it on your own. Go and seek support early. And it can be difficult in the workplace to do that, because the minute you kind of raise the issue, it can actually increase difficult behaviors at work. So go and find a coach outside, just talk it through in a nice, safe space, check it out for yourself, and be honest about your response to it. Are you in any way contributing or reacting badly to behaviors that are just rudeness or lack of courtesy at work? If, however, it is bullying in any of its forms, there's lots of things you can do, and people can advise you about what routes you can take. And then it's just a case of working out which route's best for you in the workplace that you're at. Unfortunately, there are people in workplaces who behave inappropriately. So I would wholly recommend not doing it on your own. Don't sit and blame yourself. So many people I coach think they in some way have done something to deserve the behavior they're getting. It is never okay to bully people in a workplace or anywhere else. And so, yeah, just to have that safe space to talk it through, really get to the bottom of what is going on, and then come up with a wise plan forward with support, and involve social support too. We know that social support is so vital. Your partner, your family, a close friend, have the courage to talk it through and get some real insight into what is going on. But please don't sit and blame yourself. That would be my advice to people. More often than not, when I get people who are being bullied, they're trying to work out what they must have done wrong to cause it. And it's nothing about them. It's all about the behavior of the bully.
It's great advice, Suzanne. I know that you have experienced a number of situations in your life that people would say are very stressful. So what you have just shared, having a house fire and losing everything and more. So tell me, what would you say that you've been learning about yourself?
Yeah, I've learned a huge amount about myself. And yeah, we had a house fire. I was away giving a presentation at a conference and flew back in from Wellington on a Sunday night, landed, and in the drive home got a phone call from a neighbor saying, "Where are you?" I didn't even know he had my cell phone number. And he said, "There's smoke billowing out your house and flames. I don't know where anybody is." And I got home and couldn't get into the road. It was all cut off. The fire was still, it was just about under control by then, but still going. And so, you know, you can imagine, for me, it would have been one of my worst nightmares to imagine coming home to that. And then I'm suddenly living it as a reality. And in the kind of work I'd done about anger, I sometimes used the phrase righteous anger. That sometimes anger is okay, that it's wholly appropriate and wholly expected, and no one would think that you wouldn't be angry at whatever had happened. And for this, I kind of use the term righteous stress. That if you're stood outside your house watching it burn, and there's nothing you can do, you just have to wait till the fire crews have done their job, that to me is righteous stress. But I remember walking to the front door, what was left of it, when the fire crew said, "Look, we'll show you the damage that is, and then, you know, we'll board up and you can find somewhere to stay for tonight. And I took my son by the shoulders and I said to him, look, whatever we find inside is replaceable. We're all okay. That's all that matters. I did have my fingers crossed because we couldn't find the cats at that point. But that was the approach right from the first moment. We are going to get through this. I think that whole mindset changed the tone of the whole experience. It gave me a lesson about choice and mindset that is hard to put into words. And again, had somebody tried to say that to me earlier when I was in a stressful work environment and they started just saying to me, it's all about your mindset and what you choose to do and how you choose to respond, I probably would have hit them. It wouldn't have been what I wanted to hear. But that is the reality. And so a lot of what I do with my clients now is gently and from a safe place, having got them in a more balanced place, begin to put the suggestion to them that they have far more control than they think they do if they find that different place in their minds.
Thank you so much for the work that you do, Suzanne, with your clients. Yeah, very valuable work.
Yeah, and unfortunately needed more and more in all disciplines of work. It doesn't even seem to be one particular discipline or geographically. I have clients all around the world. There is just something going on in the world that is creating uncertainty and massive disruptive change, and we don't know, we're not taught in schools how to handle that.
Thank you for all your gifts that you share and the difference that you're making with people and using your own life lessons to coach, to help people have extraordinary lives.
I would say it's my pleasure, and it is my pleasure. As I say, it's not where I would have chosen to go, but turning that round to help other people now, that's clearly part of why I'm on the planet. It's not all that I do. I go into companies and teach it to companies. I go and try and change how companies are leading their staff so that they don't get to this point. I think there's a huge responsibility on leaders too in the culture that they're creating in the workplace. So I do work at several levels. The coaching with individuals is one of those levels, and I love doing that. But I don't do it full time because I think there's lots of other valuable work in the same field. And I've recently set up the Healthy Workplace with Sarah Carruthers. And that's been a really interesting kind of movement on from the individual coaching and the individual consultancy that I do, now working with a wider team, just to change and enable workplaces to thrive and flourish as well, has been a good extension of this work and something that's equally as important. So I divide my time between that and training people in these skills through mBIT coaching and mBIT training so that other people can go and do the work that I do as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being available for this interview. It's been exciting to see you and spend this time with you.
No, it's my pleasure, Leanne, and lovely to share some space in your camper van for a little while.
Yeah, it's great. So my name's Leanne Babcock. I'm an author, an intuitive, and a passion coach. I help people follow their heart, find their passion, or expand their passion. You can reach me at leannebabcock.ca.
Fantastic. Thank you, Leanne.